Call this meeting to order. Ms. Byram, may I have roll call, please?
Miss Anderson,
Here.
Mrs. Dawson,
Here.
Mrs. Harrington, Miss Quintern, oh, sorry. I'm just going down my list. I need to take her off. Mr. Rickett.
Here.
Madam Chair, the clerk certifies the presence of a quorum.
All right. Any adjustments to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
May I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
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 Ms. Dawson, may I have closed session or motion, please?
Pursuant to 2.2-3711A of the Code of Virginia, the Orange County School Board will convene a closed meeting for the following: discussion of personnel or the performance of a division employee as authorized by Section 2.2-3711A1 of the Code of Virginia for resignation, termination, transfer, employment, salary adjustment, and retirement of employees.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. We're in closed session.
Greg, I can take this with me, right? Unplug it? Yep.
Ms. Dawson, may I have closed session certification, please?
Whereas the Orange County School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law, now therefore be it resolved that the Orange County School Board hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered.
May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Byram, may I have roll call, please?
Yes. Mrs. Anderson,
Aye.
Mrs. Dawson,
Aye.
Miss Harrington,
Aye.
Mr. Rickett.
Aye.
Madam Chair, the clerk certifies the vote as follows: 4 yes votes, no votes. The resolution is approved by a 4-0 vote.
Thank you. Dr. Hornick, deposition of personnel action.
Yes, ma'am. Recommend to please approve the personnel actions as presented in closed session.
May I have a motion, please?
I move to approve the personnel agenda to include retirement, resignation, salary adjustment, summer school, non-renewal, employment, transfer, rescind employment, and extracurricular coaching appointments.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Aye.
good. All right. We will call a recess for 20 minutes.
Thank you.
May we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I will pass this over to you, Dr. Horner.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the board. I would like to start this evening with some recognitions. And so, Dr. Wolfrey, if you would like to come forward, please. And Ms. Hallam.
Good evening. We'd like to start this evening with a recognition of our lead PE teacher for elementary, Ms. Julie Hartsfeld. So Julie, if you'd come up. Thank you. As the lead teacher, Julie has made significant contributions that benefit her colleagues, her students, and other teachers within the division. Julie has led curriculum work to ensure that our students have dynamic and engaging PE experiences. She's not only committed to her own growth, as evidenced by her participation in the JMU Summer Academy, but also to that of her colleagues, in that she has been very crucial in ensuring that we have quality professional development for our PE teachers across the division. Julie has taken the initiative to also work with community organizations to share physical fitness opportunities with families. Her efforts have opened the doors to many of our students to lead healthier and more active lifestyles outside of school. Thanks to her vision and hard work, she's brought First Tee to our school division, which introduces our students to the game of golf, and we're very excited about that for next year. Julie's passion, her innovation, and her commitment to our students and fellow educators make her a true leader, and we just want to recognize her tonight and thank her for her outstanding work and her leadership and all of her contributions to our division.
That's all.
We'd like to grab a picture. Sure.
Thank you. All right, where are we heading over here?
Right over there.
Where's Ellen?
I can take this side if you want to come on this side, or you just want me to move out? I just need to push this. I was trying to let her. Yeah.
Golf to elementary school, that's quite impressive.
Absolutely, yeah. We are also wanting to congratulate some of our newest cohort of clinical faculty from University of Mary Washington for mentoring. We partner with UMW and other mentoring programs around the state to provide a program called Pathways to Excellence, which is grant funded by the state. To support teachers becoming lead teachers and mentors in their buildings. So we're proud to recognize 3 teachers today, and one of them's here tonight with us. So Kelly Fix and Rachel Labram from Orange Elementary School. Come on. Yeah. And Rebecca Weigel from Gordon Barber Elementary School. They have completed the Pathways to Excellence program. That is a semester-long training. It focuses on communication, collaboration with adult learners, and providing effective feedback. And it strengthens their ability to serve as mentor teachers in our county and supporting the growth of our novice and pre-service educators. So we're really grateful for their dedication, and we're excited to work together to prepare the next generation of teachers that are coming in soon that chose Orange County to be their home. So congratulations, Kelly Fix.
We also want to thank Sarah, who is our math coordinator and also in charge of our mentoring program, for connecting us with Mary Washington and all the opportunities for our teachers. And now I'd like to ask Jessica Sarver to come forward. She's our science and math coordinator and STEM coordinator, and she is going to share some recognitions of some very valuable folks in our community.
Yes. Good evening, Dr. Hornick, members
Jessica.
of our school board. We are proud to recognize 2 organizations who have gone above and beyond to support our students in schools, whether through hands-on science lessons, farm visits, or agricultural education experiences. Both groups bring science, STEM, and agriculture to our students. Tonight, I'm honored to recognize them as valued partners in our school community. So the first group we'd like to recognize is the Orange County Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Program. So if there's any members, please come up and join me. So each March, this group helps celebrate Agriculture Literacy Week by visiting every second grade classroom in our division with a special agricultural themed book of the year and a hands-on activity to go with it. Do we have, Laura, the picture? You can get up? Okay. So this year they read the book Outdoor Farm, Indoor Farm by Lindsay Metcalf and led students in comparing outdoor and indoor farms and helped them plant microgreens right in their classroom. When the pictures come up, if we have the top right and left are from this year's activities. After each visit, they donate the books of the year to the classroom libraries, helping to build our collection of agriculture-related books for years to come. Beyond Agriculture Literacy Week, many members volunteer for school events such as our third grade Ag Day, and even host classrooms on their farm for real-world learning experiences. So thank you to all the members of this group. Thank you, guys. And you're gonna meet him right there.
Where's Greg? She's got it.
Okay, yeah, I'll pause.
I apologize for this.
And I apologize, this probably did not need pictures, but they just, both groups have such great pictures, yeah.
How many different farms did we go out to see?
So I actually will talk about that with the next community partner because that's part of what they do.
So it's not just me. That's okay, buddy, you can make fun of me.
It's coming.
Okay, so in this picture, the top two left and right pictures are from this year, and then the other pictures are from previous years, some of the activities that they did. So again, thank you very much. All right, so next we would like to recognize the Orange County Cooperative Extension Office, and I have Erin here to represent that office. And you can see in this picture some of the things that we're going to talk about. So this dedicated team provides engaging hands-on programs for students across multiple grade levels. Some of their most well-known efforts include the 5th grade farm tours and the 3rd grade agriculture day, events that give students a chance to apply what they're learning in the classroom through an agricultural lens. They also support a wide range of additional programs, such as our ever-popular embryology project. You can see a picture there, where students hatch chicks in their classrooms. We just wrapped that up a couple weeks ago. Public speaking and presentation opportunities, and strong support for our secondary agriculture teachers and our FFA. Their work helps our students make real-world connections through agriculture, science, and math, while developing a deeper understanding of where their food comes from and why agriculture is so important. So thank you very much. And Erin, to answer the question, how many farms did we visit?
last year, just from the beginning of the school year, we visited 4 or 5 farms, all total.
And that's just with 5th grade. And then we also have farms we visit with our high school agriculture
And we
program.
also have farms that come to us, like 3rd grade, Ag Day, we have a dairy farm, a beef farm, and a horse farm, and a goat farm all come and join us in one place. So, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aaron.
And in closing, I just want to say thank you to Jessica for making those opportunities available for our students and her hard work to coordinate.
Okay, now on to one announcement this morning, and we're happy to welcome our newest member of the high school administrative team. And she is here this evening with her husband, Rob, and son, Graham, correct? Very good. So it is with great pleasure that I'd like to announce the school board has approved Miss Allison Ellis as the new assistant principal in Orange County High School. And read a little bit about her to the community. With over a decade of experience in education, Allison brings a deep passion for student success, instructional excellence, as well as leadership development. She began her career after earning a bachelor's degree in elementary education from Kutztown University in Pennsylvania. She spent 4 years teaching elementary students before transitioning to middle school math, where she taught for 5 years in Title I schools in Prince William County. Her dedication to equity and excellence in mathematics led to her to pursue a master's degree in education leadership with a concentration as a math specialist from George Mason University. In 2021, Allison joined Stafford County Public Schools as a math specialist. In this role, she delivered professional development at both the local and state level conferences, collaborated on the development of elementary math curricula, and supported teachers in implementing effective instructional practices. Most recently, she furthered her leadership credentials by earning her postmaster's certificate in ed leadership from VCU. Allison is deeply committed to the belief that all students can thrive when given the right support and opportunities. She's a tireless advocate for high-quality instruction. She's passionate about empowering both students and educators to realize their full potential. She's thrilled to begin this new chapter here in Orange County, which is also where her and her family reside, and looks forward to building strong relationships with the students, the staff, and all the families at Orange County High School. And I'd like to take a moment. Allison, if you would please stand, and we can give you a warm welcome to Orange County. And I'd really like to thank Mr. Hatcher-Fagan, Ms. White, and Mr. Price for coming out this evening as the high school administrative team, and to see if you all would be willing to join Ms. Anderson and myself as we take a picture against the backdrop to welcome Allison. And we need to make sure that we get the family in one of these as well. So please join us over here.
Chuck E. Cheese on 3? Yes. 1, 2, 3. Chuck E. Cheese. Yay!
I love 4-year-olds.
Randy, thanks for coming out.
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations. Thank you all to the recipients of our recognition this evening. Welcome to Allison at Orange County High School. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, for your support and your time. And I will turn it back over to you all. Thank you.
Right. At this time, I'd like to open up public comment. The Orange County School Board recognizes the importance of maintaining a respectful and orderly environment during school board meetings. Therefore, we kindly request that all comments made are relevant to the field of pre-K through 12 public education and pertain to the matters concerning the school board and division. We ask that individuals refrain from using offensive language, engaging in vulgar or profane behavior, or making comments or taking action that might incite violence or disrupt the peace. Unless otherwise authorized by the chair, each speaker is allotted a maximum of 3 minutes to express their views. To uphold decorum, we also kindly request that applause, noise-making, or any other disruptive behavior be avoided before, during, and after a member of the public addresses the board. It is important to note that public comment is intended for addressing the school board, and therefore comments should be directed solely towards the board members. Furthermore, it is expected that board members will refrain from engaging in dialogue with the speakers during this time, as it is an opportunity for the board to actively listen to the thoughts, concerns, and feedback of the public. Any conduct that violates the established decorum and order as determined by the chair or their designee may result in disciplinary actions, including potential expulsion from the meeting. Alternatively, written comments may be submitted to board members via email. It is crucial to emphasize that these guidelines are not intended to restrict freedom of speech, but rather to ensure effective communication between the board and their public servants. We eagerly anticipate your valuable contribution and feedback. Ms. Byron, do we have any speakers this evening?
Yes, ma'am. We have one, Miss Tracy Laughlin.
Thank you.
Thanks for allowing me to speak. I saw on the agenda tonight that there's an item for consideration of policy services offered by the School Board Member Alliance of Virginia. When the board voted to forego membership in the Virginia School Board Association earlier this year, the argument from a few board members was not wanting to pay the fees to be a member of an ideological organization. I would apply that same argument to this conversation about paying close to $3,000 to join the SBMA, which is an ideological organization with a political agenda. We should not be spending the county's education dollars to support a 2-year-old political organization that does not offer the expertise or experience to provide legal guidance on district compliance with state policy and statute. Nowhere on SBMA's website is any explanation of their staff's qualifications to provide such guidance. As you have this discussion, I encourage you to ask yourselves if this is a partisan effort. How much have we spent on legal counsel since dropping out of the VSBA? Does this fledgling organization have the expertise to protect the board from legal challenges, or is this an organization committed to conservative empowerment? Where does this keep coming from? Our kids should not be used as political pawns. This ongoing effort to use the school board as a political tool is a disservice to them and the community at large. Please do better. Thank you.
Ms. Byron?
There are no more speakers.
All right. If there are no other speakers, I will close public comment. And we will move on to item 6, consent agenda, which is our approval of minutes, financial reports, and monthly operating bills. I have just a couple questions. There was a couple large amounts on there. One was for the Virginia Department of Education. Just wanted to kind of get clarity on what that was for, since there's no additional notes on the side. It was $516 for $5,950. If you could just get back to me, I'm fine. I mean,
Okay.
that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Which,
5,950.
Yes, it was 516 was the date. But other than that, I reviewed the rest of them, and I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes, financial reports, and monthly operating bills for
February 24th, 2025 minutes, March 18th, 2025 minutes, March 31st minutes, May 2025 financial report, food service report, and May 2025 monthly bills.
Second.
All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right. Moving on. Dr. Hornig, consideration of the overnight.
Yes, ma'am. We have three now. I apologize. From the high school. One is coming from JROTC. This is their yearly cadet leadership challenge that they head to. And we have another one, which is to compete in the national conference for Miss Jamerson. And the third one is athletics for the track team headed to Lynchburg for outdoor Class 4 state finals.
Are there any questions? Would someone like to make a motion to approve these this evening?
I'll make a motion to approve the overnight out-of-state field trip request as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Good luck.
Aye.
Still you, Dr. Hornig.
It's virtual Virginia.
Oh, virtual. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appreciate that. This evening for reports, we have Ms. Blair, and this might be Ms. Blair's last report. Is that correct, Linda? It's not that she's happy or anything. Linda?
It's with sad heart that I present this evening. No.
A sad heart, but a grin on your face.
Yes, thank you so much, and,
Yeah,
and thank you for all your
I
support.
will definitely miss seeing you here.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to miss you guys too as I'm out on my kayak. And
The sun.
yeah. So I'm just here to present the summer food service program that we are happy to do again this year. We will have meals for our students at all schools while they're in summer school. And the community is also invited to come in Monday through Thursday for breakfast and lunch. And then each Thursday, we will have weekend bags of food to distribute. The kids can take them home, the ones that are at summer school, and community can drive up and get a curbside pickup for those meals. And that will be at all schools that are hosting summer school, except not the high school and not Prospect, because they can come here since it's closer. Then after summer school, we will continue the program at 3 of our locations, Gordonsville, Teak, and Locust Grove Primary, so that we're getting 3 areas of the county to kind of spread it out. Those particular schools have programs in the building already, like child care and Boys and Girls Club, who we will feed. And then we also have the community that can come in and have a meal and pick up a bag on Thursdays for the weekends. So that goes through till the 24th of July. After that, then school starts, so no more summer program.
Well, I think I remember you presenting this last year, and just very grateful for the program and you spearheading this.
Thank you.
You know, I'm sure this is going to be something that's going to continue.
Yes.
Yeah. Helping feed our young people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ms. Blair. Enjoy your retirement. Stop by and say hello to us. Next on recommendation, I'd like to bring Dr. Honaker forward first for a foreign exchange program addition
Yes.
to the list. Renee.
I had brought some to you earlier this year, and we have had a late application. A company that we had here many, many years ago before my time, but now they have a family that would like to use this group. It's Education First. It began in 1971. It offers both inbound and outbound opportunities for high school students. EF, as they call themselves, EF High School Exchange is designated by the U.S. Department of State, as well as the Council on Standards for International Educational Travel, which is what we always look at to make sure that they are certified through them. Students are eligible between the ages of 15 to 18. They must pass a strict screening process for motivation, character, grades, and proficiency in written and spoken English. And then during their exchange, students are supervised by a local coordinator, and that's the third thing that we always look for. So I would ask that if possible, we would be able to approve this tonight because there is a child who wants to come to Orange County, and they're kind of waiting to see if we would approve this. So
Where do they want to come from?
I'm not sure. She did not tell me that until we approve them, then I'll get more information on the student. So
I have a question, and I asked Dr. Hornick this the other day when we were doing the agenda, but I've noticed, we've had multiple ones this year. Is there a reason that we're having not necessarily an influx, but more this year than we've had in the past? Are they leaving? Or is some not doing it anymore and we're getting new ones? Or is
you mean the companies?
the companies themselves?
I really don't know. It's just, we just happen to have 3 new ones this year, which we don't normally have that, but it is, maybe there's more companies, I don't know. This company used to work with Orange County, and I guess after so many years of not having a student who goes through them to come here, they kind of drop off the list, and then, we
That
bring
makes
them
sense.
back.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to approve the addition of EF Exchange to the division's approved list for foreign exchange student programs.
Second?
All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the board. Next, bring Lisa forward for 2 supplemental appropriations requests. Miss Lisa.
Good afternoon. All right, the first one I have is a federal grant, ARP, the American Rescue Plan, McKinney-Vento, and it's in the amount of $21,275.82. So it'll increase revenue and expenses on that. You need some background on that. It provides federal funding of states' local support students experiencing homelessness.
These are listed as 2 separate ones, right?
Yes, so that's the first one.
Gotcha.
And the next one is regional tuition for SPED. It's coming in more than what we had expected, so in the year, we'll be adding $203,690 to increase the revenue and expenses on that side.
Are there any questions? No?
Good. This is something we want to approve.
It would be
nice.
helpful, yes.
Especially the SPED one, since we're getting to the
Make a
end of the year.
motion, I'm sorry.
We're getting lots of money from them.
Yeah, and we're getting to the end of the year where we need to spend the rest.
Make a motion to
Hi.
approve supplemental appropriations totaling $224,965.82 for revenue and expenses.
Do I have a second?
I'll second, but I think Sandy may want to.
Sandy, did you have a question?
I did have a question, thank you. I'm not sure if Lisa's aware or not, but is the additional supplemental appropriation, are we able to move expenditures to match the revenue that we're receiving, or is that going to allow us to spend more money on our students?
It's going to be both right now. We have put through a few POs just recently that this will cover. And then I know there's other expenses that Susan would like to put through, and this will cover that too.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anything else?
We're going to approve you.
Thank you.
All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Next, for the next two, Mr. Hill, and this is probably Mr. Hill's last hurrah in front of the Orange County School Board.
No, see, it's not so.
It is so, I am sorry to say, and I would like to start, though, by thanking the board for the opportunity that you all gave me 3 years ago to come here and be a part of this amazing team. This is truly a special place, and I'm taking away a lot of very good memories, and appreciate what you've done to let me come here and work with these students and with this team. So,
Greg, the door's open.
thank you.
Thank you,
I
Greg.
appreciate that. Thank you. So I'm here. My first one is our surplus. As you know, we go through that. We do get minimal return on equipment. And at the bottom, the large quantity that you see, that's kind of our parting gift for our students who are graduating seniors. That is their Chromebooks. That's the last item on the list. So those are their 4-year-old Chromebooks that they were issued when they started in 9th grade.
Yep, move.
Is there any questions?
Yeah.
By all means.
Move to approve disposal of surplus property as presented.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor by saying aye.
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 Thank you very much. And secondly, we just felt it was prudent to bring forth the Chromebook purchase for next year. And I included a breakdown, as you can see there. VPSA covers the bulk of that purchase, and the county's portion is actually under $100,000, which is usually our threshold, but we felt it was prudent to just bring that forward so you know what that expenditure is and how it breaks out. So this is for the current Chromebooks that we'll be ordering for grades 1, 5, and 9.
Do we have a total number of how many?
I believe the total was 1,250 is what we wound up with, or about that. I think it's 1,200. I might have taken it back 100, so.
Any questions on this one?
Move to approve purchase of student Chromebooks for grades 1, 5, and 9 for 25-26 school year.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Greg, thank you.
Greg.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Next, I'd like to bring forward Mr. Sarver. And this was a labor of love moving through this work to take our next step in the realm of safety and security. So Justin, if you would like to take it away, please.
Dr. Hornick, members of the board, I'd like to formally recommend that we move forward with a contract with Centegix. Centegix provides a service to the county which provides rapid response, rapid notification, and visitor management for the division. This is the culmination of a lot of work over the last school year. Just to refresh everybody's memory, after the incident at Orange Elementary, there was quite a bit of interest in weapons detection, which became the topic of our Blue Ribbon panel and our Safe and Supportive Schools task forces. The need to add an additional layer of security to our existing protocols was evident, but the best way to arrive at that, what method was going to be the next most effective, taking into consideration the expenditures and what provides the most bang for the most bucks and what ultimately solves problems for us. There was a school shooting in Georgia in August as well. That's when I became aware of this product. I think Dr. Hornick had been introduced to it at a conference prior to that. Essentially what this product does is it allows each individual employee to wear a lanyard that has a panic button on it, basically. When pressed, it can be used to declare an emergency, but not, it can be used to declare like a medical emergency. It can be used to declare an emergency for a fight. And the benefit of it is that the system includes a mapping system which will show the exact location of where the emergency is declared. This is important because in certain emergencies, time is of the essence. If you have a cardiac event, Knowing where the AEDs are in the building, knowing where that individual is, 30 seconds to a minute of additional time could mean life or death. With code reds or a declaration of a building lockdown, this button allows you to immediately make that notification. It would include a strobing light in each room. It would also have an audible alarm. It will also notify our 911 center immediately. All of this happens in a matter of seconds, where it can take upwards of a minute or two to rely on the existing system. So we've vetted this process. We've vetted several different vendors. While it's not an inexpensive product, it provides a layer of security that will immediately make our building safer. And I do have a brief video, if Laura, if you'll cue that up for me, kind of outlines the importance of time in an emergency and what Centegix will do for us. One of the things that differentiates this product from another competitor, which we currently use, which is Raptor, is that the badges are basically maintenance-free for us for the number of years. It does not use battery until you actually press the button. The other product requires the employee to charge the device periodically. Anytime you have another step, there's an opportunity for an error or a mistake. If you watched in the beginning of the video, she fumbled with her cell phone to try to enter a password, and there was no service. There's a risk in having an employee rely on their personal device to make emergency notifications. This takes all of the thought out of declaring an emergency. We will continue to look at layered approaches to security, but this immediately solves some notification issues we have with our current PA systems. And while this is, again, not an inexpensive product, it's a $46,000 starting fee for one-time costs, and then $87,000 a year. We're going to continue to explore different opportunities for funding, but for now, we have found savings within our existing transportation budget to absorb the cost of this. This is for procurement purposes, their design and their equipment is proprietary, so it would be considered a sole source provider. Can I answer any questions for you?
If you wouldn't mind, for the people that are in here and anyone maybe watching, first of all, thanks for, I know how much time you put into this. I really do, and the safety of the young people in this community is your top priority. I truly know that and believe that. So that being said, if you could just share a little bit, you referenced the blue ribbon panel, let everyone know
that
how far you reached to get expert opinions on.
The Blue Ribbon Panel stretches out to both local and state law enforcement, Department of Social Services, people from all different walks of life outside of our school district, but who have a stake in our community. Our local sheriff's office, I can't begin to explain how unique our county situation is, that we have the ability to pick up the telephone, get a hold of our sheriff, get a hold of our other leadership, and have their full attention. And I will say that this has been fully endorsed by the sheriff's office as a good solution to add a very important layer of security to our buildings. Some other technologies we have vetted through this have been traditional weapons detection. If you go to a sporting event where you have the stanchions. And we've also looked at some camera system overlays. And we will continue to evaluate those. And again, most of that's a funding thing. With weapons detection, there's a couple of different types of technologies. And they have varying different levels of safety and settings for detection. And it also has a component where you have to determine the rate that people enter your building and also the amount of staff it takes to manage it. So there's just a lot of different areas we'll have to continue to look at for that, for feasibility.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dawson, do you have anything? No. Ms. Harrington, do you have any questions?
No questions. Just want to again thank everybody involved in the Blue Ribbon Panel and Justin for taking the next step forward and making sure that we have the most up-to-date and hopefully able to ensure safety and prevent any other type of outcome. So I really appreciate the hard work that's been put into this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would like to make a motion to authorize to enter into a contract with Centedrix for RIRS and visitor management programming.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you very much for your support. Justin, fantastic work leading this effort, and it has been multiple months and meetings and reaching out to vendors and just a litany of things that you led. So thank you, Justin, for your time, your expertise, and your acumen. I appreciate it. Next, for members of the board and the community, we began the process of developing the 26-27 calendar. And via that process, and in particular based on some survey data that we received from our employee engagement survey earlier in the year, we wanted to make one kind of critical change to the calendar, and that change is we would like to add a series of 5 early release days for students that would then provide us an opportunity to do building-based professional development led primarily and mostly by our lead teachers at our building level. And so when we began the work on the 26-27 calendar, it made sense to go back and seek the revision and the addition of those days into the 25-26 calendar that's currently approved. And so I have presented this to you as the approved calendar that has already been approved by the school board, and with two kind of key recommendations for revisions, one being the addition of, in this case, it would be August 28th, September 30th, October, scroll down, Laura, October 29th, scroll back up, January 29th, and February 24th. And also on this calendar is a recommendation to add November the 11th as Veterans Day as a student and staff holiday. And so within the two calendars that come before you, they are very much aligned, and both of them have those two changes or amendments to them. And we would like to seek the board's approval and hopefully to get these calendars out to everybody sooner rather than later. But you will see working through that those are the changes to the calendar.
Do we have any questions? Ms. Harrington, do you have any questions?
I just wonder, is there a committee that is involved in making these changes, or is this just done at an administrative level?
Yeah, no. Yes, we have a calendar committee that is made up of representatives from each building, and Ms. Dawson and I met with them, and we met with them twice, as well as sending them an advanced copy of the final drafts that you have before you. We explained the rationale for the change in the PD days. And so those folks were involved and understood and were supportive of the changes that we brought forward.
And go ahead.
I want to make sure that I am 100% clear. There is one difference. There is one major difference between the 26-27 and the 25-26 calendar, and that is the location of spring break within the calendar. It is 1 week earlier in 26-27, primarily due to the fact that March the 28th is Easter, and so that gives us the opportunity then to have you have folks who like to have Easter Monday, and so it does have it does provide us the ability to tie that there for that particular year. It will not always be the case because, as you know, from this year, Easter was incredibly late in April. There's no reason to do a spring break, the second to last week in April, and then try to come back and then be done in the middle of May. But when possible, it does make sense for us to consider that holiday. And so that is, thank you, Ms. Dawson, that is one change. You will notice in the 25-26 calendar, it's the first full week of April, whereas in the 6-7 calendar, it is the week that finishes March and begins April.
And I'm also wondering, Dan, do our current working staff, our teachers, do we get a 2-month real break for both students and teachers, or is it just a little bit less than that?
It is no. You have that plus what everybody will make sure that they clamor for is 2 full weeks at the winter break as well, and this provides the same number of instructional days in the fall and the spring, which is of particular importance to our high school as well as some of our semester-based elective Connect courses at the middle school level. So when our folks leave on, in this case, I'm looking at the 25-26 calendar on December the 19th. We're done. SOLs have been taken for the fall. Grades are complete, and when we come back, we are ready to start the second semester. So this year will show what a positive outcome that provides for staff and for students, testing and everything. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. So our start and end dates are the same. So it will. We have not cut into the summer break at all between
Wonderful.
the last 2 years. So it is still 100% the same length over the summer, but we have been able to incorporate the full 2-week break at Christmas time, at the winter time, and that is very highly regarded by everybody on the calendar committee. So I suspect that's very highly regarded by all of our staff members.
Yeah, so thank you, Dan. I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate that. I think that it's important that our staff is involved in identifying those days. And as we all probably would like to say, we appreciate work-life balance. And I think this helps teachers and kiddos. And I'm really glad that we have a committee that's involved in making these changes. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Anything else on that one?
Move to approve 26, 27,
And 25-26
and
with revisions.
25-26 calendar as presented.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second.
All those in favor?
I tried to beat you.
All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
I would
you.
just add, thank Dr. Hornick. A lot of the teachers I've speak with throughout the division very much want those professional days, and Dr. Hornick and his team listen to the feedback that we were getting, and then adding Veterans Day. That's feedback from the community. That was a big deal. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the board. And on the topic of calendar, Ms. Byron will be happy to bring forward proposed 25-26 school board meeting calendar. And so, Ms. Byron?
Okay. This calendar is loosely based on your meeting schedule of first Monday and last Monday, because there are some exceptions in it. For July, you have already previously agreed you wanted one meeting on the 14th, so we've got that one scheduled. And then we have adjusted from the first Monday in August, because that first week we still have professional development and pre-service work going on. So we thought we'd bump the meeting, and plus we could give you a report on the first day of school by making it on the 11th. September, it's moved because of the holiday. And then the other two changes, November and December of this year, we cut down to one meeting, so I followed that pattern. But if you want two meetings, that's fine. But I just went as if we were doing it again the same way and combined those meetings. And again in April, because of the way spring break falls. So we just did one meeting there. So if you want to just take your time and look at it and see if there's any changes you need made, or anything I missed.
Laura and Madam Chair, maybe November we did just the one meeting because we had our retreat that month. Is that correct? Or did we end up doing the retreat in December? I couldn't remember.
That was December.
It was
That was
December.
December.
Was okay.
Yeah, I believe we did one meeting in November because of Thanksgiving break.
Yeah,
It would've-
that makes
It
sense.
would have fell, so we just picked the one right in the middle.
And right before the election.
And the
too.
election.
And the elections also,
This is a
so,
discussion.
which is why we had changed it last year. Was
Yes,
the
because-
election, the day it fell on.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
You don't need to approve this, do we?
No, not
This is
right
just
away.
FYI.
Well, it does require approval, but we can wait until the next meeting to approve it, because it's not official till July 1st.
And that is all for us this evening. Thank you very much for your time, Madam Chair, members of the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to board member items. I had requested that we put the policies that we had postponed or delayed in this late winter, I think it was. I had talked with Dr. Wolfrey and Dr. Hornick about getting a little bit more information on these, so unless there's, I'm still waiting on that information.
Bring it back the next time. Yes,
So if
ma'am.
there's any questions or anything that you all would like to ask or add to the request.
What I'm specifically interested in seeing is what curriculum would be used to implement this new code. Because until I know what that is, it's difficult. I understand it's written into code, but how are we going to teach it? And I don't know that that's available. Do you know, Dr. Honecker, is there something already provided for that? Or does VDOE have any idea? What are students going to have in front of them? I put you on the spot. I should have asked that earlier, and I apologize. But
We have our curriculum written, and we include these health topics already. They're very cursory. We don't go into great detail, but we do basically include exactly what they ask us to include in our written curriculum.
so we're already doing what the new code is requiring us to do?
No, but what we have had is about drug and alcohol and tobacco in our curriculum. But it's been years. We've always had that. We haven't gone in and added anything extra this yet for this because we're waiting on our.
Waiting on the policy approval. And once it's approved at our end, then there will be a committee that decides what it's going to look like.
We would be happy to have one of you, come and join us, like when we meet, but we don't want to move forward until we have a policy.
Okay, and the other piece of it, for me, I know it had been brought up that we make it an opt-in, and I understand how difficult that makes it on the classroom teacher side of things. But I still think, I know, Dr. Hornick, you added the policy
Yes, ma'am.
for how do parents go about if they have an objection to something.
Correct.
But I still think maybe we could make that a little bit more straightforward, perhaps, is the word. Anyway, those would be my two concerns. I still think we should kick this one down the road. You said it doesn't have to be done until 27? 26, 27 is...
that's when the next set of revamped standards are going to be, but this information is already in code. Right, so.
But it's not already in classrooms until the requirement is for this coming fall or the following fall?
I would suspect it probably should already have been done.
So I thought you told us one of the many times that we've talked about this, that it was down the way a bit, a year or two even. But perhaps I don't remember that.
No, I remember it being like at the minimum a year away. But maybe I'm having...
Well, no, because I think that is when a lot of these is probably going to be included in the SOL standards. Right, and so these are going to be incorporated and become part of the required standards when the next revision is up for health and PE standards, which is the 26-27 school year. Right.
Is that something we can also see the actual SOL test that they've just obviously recently taken as far as the questions and stuff that relate to some of these?
There is no test
For health and PE.
you mean like a standards of learning test for health?
Well, he mentioned an SOL test as far as having.
No, they're in the standards of learning, but there isn't an SOL
Not a
test
test.
associated with it.
My apologies.
Right.
Okay, my apologies. I just assume when I hear SOL that it's a test. Gotcha.
So when the VDOE revamps those standards, will they then also have any recommendations for curriculum adoption like they do in some of the core, or do they just leave it up to each division?
They don't normally have like approved curriculum, but they do give you the standards, and then we do that. I will tell you that when we did our curriculum, we did have some of our high school health teachers here, and we did ask them to take into consideration, and they did, when they were writing curriculum for health, what we talked about here, and the board meeting about making it more third person, not personal. And they took that to heart. They're still working, they're not finished. But so that's one thing I did want to tell you all, that we make sure we did. But there won't be necessarily like a textbook that they'll say you have to use this. There'll probably be choices that we can use. And of course, we would go through the same process for adopting that we do for any textbook.
And once that's done, do we have access on the drive to look at what the individual teachers, like a syllabus, or that's all part of?
Those, once they're complete, we will put those in the drive that we've shared with you for the past few years.
Right.
With the curriculum maps, so you can have access to those. Yes.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
I apologize again for putting you on the spot. I didn't mean to do
Sorry, I
that.
was just trying to think.
And excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yep. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I couldn't very well hear was that Renee that was talking? I'm just wondering, Dr. Hornick, are we currently in compliance with law? We just need to adopt the policy. And the way that I think I understand it is once the SOLs are changed, once the standards are adjusted, then we will adjust as necessary? Well, just curriculum is necessary. There's no model policy out there that's currently in place. We don't need to have a specific statement in curriculum that we're not already doing. Are we currently in compliance?
So I guess the best way to answer that question is this policy is a cut and paste of Virginia code. So in these bullets where it talks about general themes of life skills, including self-awareness, self-management, signs and symptoms of mental health challenges, the connection between mental health and substance abuse disorders. This is literally all that was done, is it was copy and pasted from Virginia code. And so if you're asking me if we have the flexibility to just not do it, I would recommend that's not something that we have the flexibility to do. That argument.
That's not what I'm asking.
That argument came
That is
and
not
went.
what I'm asking.
So
What I'm asking is, if we're already doing it, is there any reason to continue delay adopting this policy and then adjusting or amending as we need to going forward?
well, if I'm hearing correctly, I mean, there are obviously there's concerns with the themes that have been brought forward, but I don't necessarily know that how it's written is more the concern of how it's actually going to be carried out on the day-to-day basis. So I guess I'll leave you with, I'm hopeful that me and this administration have earned enough trust that the board would know and the community would know that we would take what is in this policy and put instruction together that does not put our teachers or any of our students in a poor position or a position to fail. We have a very, very short window of time to begin with in health courses. In particular, at the high school, if you think of a four-quarter course, our students are in the health room for one of those quarters. So we don't have a full year. So as the word that Renee used, cursory, a lot of these are not all standalone units to go very much in depth. And so
Right.
if there is a trust that we are going to implement this, and Renee has already said we'd be happy to have board members involved in, the actual cooking of this recipe, right? What you see before you is the recipe. You know, the details are what matters. It would probably behoove us to move on it and get that done, because we essentially aren't doing anything until we have a policy.
If I could respond to you, Dr. Hornick, I don't want you or our admin team to think that it's a lack of trust at all in your work. My frustration actually is my own, that the legislature continues to add to the school teacher's plate all of these themes and mental health issues that are not our academic concern, in my opinion. We are not mental health professionals. You're not, I'm not, our teachers are not, and they have enough on their plates without being made to address all of these things additionally. It's not a problem with the schools, it's a problem with the legislature. But having said that, they passed the code. Not easily. There was a big debate in the legislature too, but it passed. And so now what do we do with it? I think you're right that we probably don't have a choice except to pass it, but then follow up by making sure that what we're doing is what Orange County is comfortable with presenting.
I could not agree more with you.
That's where I am.
How much longer for you've got the health and PE teachers doing the curriculum, working on it now? Ballpark. Do you think by our next meeting?
No.
Okay.
If you, hang on.
Just come on down,
No,
Dr.
you can't.
Hennick.
I want,
Arrington to be able to hear me.
That's a good idea.
What we have is what we've done in years past, and we've, with the exception of, we went in and made sure that what we did so far this summer is take what we already do and make sure that it's third person, right? Not personal, like tell us a personal experience, but what we talked about in this meeting. We know these are there. Our teachers know they're there. They're anxious about this because they want time to get it done. So I'm just going to say what I think. I think if we could pass this, we would have more time to make sure that our teachers create a curriculum that makes both you and our community comfortable. The longer we kick it down the road, it's just sort of drawing it out, and it's causing angst with our team. So I would prefer that you trust us to come up with some of the revisions, bring them forward, let you look at them. We can make adjustments, but the longer I don't know who said kick this down the road or kick the can down the road.
We've kicked it down the road.
And
I'm going to reiterate what Ms. Dawson said. It has nothing to do with trust or anybody's abilities within the school division. It is, and she and I have had conversations about this. It is the frustration with a state.
Oh, 100% I agree with you.
But we don't want to stand in the way of exactly what your frustration is we are the reason why we are delaying.
Right. Well, and our teachers, I will tell you, they do feel some anxiety about this. They know, they want to do what's right. Okay, that's they've said this to me. We want to do what the law says we're supposed to be doing, but we don't feel like, they feel like they're in limbo, and nobody likes to feel like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing as a professional. So I would.
So just an idea. Let's say hypothetically we passed this. Could you get something to us before school started?
Of course.
Where
yes, we would.
Myself and Ms. Dawson and
yes,
Melissa, obviously if she wants, but just could have.
I just know we can't do it by June 16th because I know one of them is on vacation. So of the people who are working on it.
Is that
a short amount of time?
Is that? How's that sound?
Well, I guess I will speak up here. I guess the questions that I've been asking is, I'm signing a policy that's basically a huge umbrella of everything that we could or could not do. My question was, how do we create a policy that specifically outlines what we as a division do?
But I don't think that's, with all due respect.
No, I understand.
I don't think that's policy. I think that's curriculum.
Right, but
Our
I'm signing a
policy is
blanket
general.
policy. It is general.
It is general. That's very general. How we put it into what's going to be in the classroom is our curriculum. And our curriculum will be approved, right? We'll bring it forward, we'll do that. To me, this is general. The more specific you get in this, then you really can get yourself in trouble down the road if somebody, if something changes, then we'd have to go back to policy. This is general. And as Dr. Hornick said, we're not going to go deep into any of these topics because, quite frankly, we don't have time on a 4x4 block. And I can assure you that it will be covered and it will be done in a way that is not personal to students. It will be what we talked about earlier in the year.
I mean, is that a compromise from the standpoint of we will know before the school year?
We won't do anything without you all seeing it because this is such a
I mean, is that
huge
an
topic.
acceptable?
Yeah. Mhm.
Is that an acceptable compromise?
Well, I did previously ask to look at the curriculum from last year.
It's in, and we gave it to you. It is in that drive that we shared with you all. You've had all of them.
The two things that I would like to point out are the mays. May, we don't have to, regardless. Even by code. If it says may, it is optional. So in my suggestion, I would prefer taking both of those mays out of there.
Can you show me the maze? I'm sorry.
May include an age-appropriate program of instructions on the safe use of abuse of prescription drugs that is considered or consistent with curriculum guidelines developed by the Board of Education. And I believe the second one we don't do at all, which is the menstrual program. So if we don't do them, then I would prefer we take them out altogether.
We will see it.
I think we should, personally, I think that we should go forward. We should adopt these as presented and recommended by the superintendent. We should revisit it before school starts when we have the curriculum to look at and to ask questions about. And this whole conversation, this school board policy has been kicked back and forth for 9 months now. Let's just get it forward, let the teachers be able to make the policy that they need to present to us so we can then look at that level.
Could I add
So
one?
I would, based on that, I would like to make a, I would like to make a proposal.
Dr. Honecker wanted
Make a
to say
motion.
something. Can you wait 1 second?
Okay, excuse me.
I would like to speak
thank you.
to what you said, Ms. Anderson, again, with all due respect. I do think that we are doing our children a disservice if we do not at least cover the risk of abuse of prescription drugs. It is a problem. It's a problem in Orange County. It is a problem across the nation. I don't think that we would go into great detail, but that's as important as covering tobacco and alcohol in the world today.
Sure.
But, we will, of course, do what you all decide, but that's just, I don't feel right not stating my opinion on that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, opioid addiction
Yes.
is a big deal. So
That's what
we have
makes
that
me
here.
nervous.
We have that here in Orange
Yes.
County. Right. Is this a good compromise?
Ms. Harrington, were you going to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion if we're at that point. Yes, please. Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve both of the policy revisions, IGAE, IGAF, that have been presented and recommended by the superintendent, Dr. Hornick, and that we revisit this in either August or September, whenever it is appropriate, to see what the curriculum is and see how we feel about that, and that we maintain the language relative to the ability to go into board policy for opt-out concerns, but we do not continue to revisit the opt-in issue at this point.
May I have a second?
I'm so confused at the
Can
motion.
you simplify your motion, please?
That we approve as Dr. Hornick presented and recommended.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
I guess I'm
Thank you.
aye.
Sandy?
Aye.
All those opposed? Nay. Motion 3? 3-1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Renee.
Thank you.
On the back page. And moving on. I believe this was Ms. Dawson's.
Yes, I'd had a conversation with Dr. Hornick and also individually with I think each of the board members, one-on-one, about our desire to prioritize more open and honest conversations with employees. Having been a career teacher myself, I very much understand the sort of invisible barrier that stands between teachers and staff and the board. And our vision collectively is to help tear down that wall. With a single-minded focus, our North Star, as we often call it, of improving educational outcomes for students. And so our belief is that hearing directly from those who have boots on the ground in the classroom every day are talking to them, getting their insights, their positives, their negatives, would be the best way for us to really get a good sense of where we stand and what we need to do going forward. So each of us is interested in the answer that staff, teachers, admin would provide to this guiding question. What barriers stand in the way of academic achievement for our students, and how can we help remove them? So what we'd like for all of you to consider, all of you meaning the entire division employees, is an opportunity to engage with us, 2 of us at a time, so that we stay legal. But we're talking about everybody, teachers in particular, but also administrators, bus drivers, secretaries, custodians, cafeteria staff, our SROs, counselors, IAs, coaches. Everybody who has contact with our students has a vital role to play, and we want to hear from you. So we came up with this idea of teacher talks, and we just need to flesh it out. What does it look like? Maybe during the preschool work weeks, although I know those are booked, busy, a lot's going on, but just a chance for 2 of us at a time to set up meetings in each building or each department, and just give you a chance to come and just share without any sort of, my fear always as a teacher was there was no way, absolutely no way I ever in my 34 years would have gone to a board member about anything. Nope, not happening, because there's a chain of command. But having been through that 34 years, I know that sometimes going up the chain feels like you're just not getting anywhere. So we would like a chance to just hear from you directly without fear of any sort of judgment or retribution. We just want to know, what barriers are you facing and how can we help you fix it? We're here for students. We truly are here for students. And so this is just an opening to that conversation and a chance to talk about how can we move that forward for the coming school year and open up some good conversations between us and the employees.
Well, I'm on board. Yeah, I look forward to it. I think you've had a conversation with Dr. Hornick. I've had a conversation with Dr. Hornick, so we will get that scheduled. We obviously don't want to put any more stress or impact on any of the buildings for the beginning of school, but after school gets going, we will schedule accordingly and go say hi to everyone. That's the way I like how Ms. Dawson presents it. Teacher talks. We're going to come and say hello.
I guess the only question that I would have, you could give us some ideas of dates that would be best suited for
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I don't know if work days are better, or after-school times are better, or before school times.
Madam
We'll probably mix a little bit of all the above.
Chair, if I jump in for a moment.
Yes, Andy.
Okay?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just want to make sure that whatever we do decide on, that we are very inclusive of the teachers' opinions and what they feel we need to do, because this is a real, it's a concern to me, just from a, we're not micromanaging. That is not our job. We are building relationships. We really do care about both our staff and the outcomes that our teachers provide for our students. And we want to do exactly what Darlene says. But coming from a history with bargaining units, that may not be how it's perceived. And I just want to make sure we tread softly and that we really take the time to develop the trust that our teachers need to have in us in order to develop those relationships and be honest about what we need to hear.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? We're good on that one? All right. Moving on. Ms. Dawson, you again.
All right, this one is about the policy services discussion, and of course, this has been brought forward multiple times about what to do about policy. And I attended a webinar last week because on May 21st, the Virginia Board of Education got the update from the Department of Education about the new legislation that had passed this last General Assembly. And so there's close to 100, I think, education-related bills. Most of those will take effect July 1st, and some are awaiting guidance from the Virginia Board of Education. So there are lots of pieces to this, and I received and forwarded to all of you a toolkit that highlights what the education bills are and what the school board responsibilities are in order to implement those. But since we did not move forward with a policy committee, as we had discussed previously, I thought it might be useful to have some input. And School Board Member Alliance does offer a policy services option. And I'd just like to see if we would like to talk to them. This is not, there's no such thing as membership. Board membership in School Board Member Alliance is not a thing. Individual memberships are allowed, but it's not something that the entire board necessarily has to do. That's one of the things that differentiates it from VSBA. It is not partisan. It's a group that's focused on academic excellence, merit-based education, data-driven decisions, transparency and accountability, student achievement, all the things that this board is interested in promoting. So I think it's worth it to give them a fair hearing. I'm not saying necessarily that I'm making a motion to adopt it, but I do think it might behoove us to at least consider, reach out to them and consider what they have to offer. There's a lot of legislation to look at. And we can do it. I've said that before. There's, the VDOE has all of the policies there. If you want us to write it and then give it to our attorney, then I volunteer for tribute. But they have a wonderful lawyer on board and some very bright minds that have already been through it all. So that's my suggestion, that we contact them and figure out what their contract looks like, what does it include, what are the contractual obligations, and $2,900 for an annual subscription with them is a very reasonable cost, in my opinion.
May I,
Yep.
Madam Chair?
Ms. Harrington, please. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I absolutely feel and am open to continued research and discussion, but I think that it is a little bit more involved than what we're currently discussing. Number one, are we just looking at policy services? Are we looking to an arrangement relative to policy and advocacy / lobbying type of organization? There are just a lot of questions, and Ms. Dawson and I talked earlier today, and I am definitely willing to talk about it, and I think that some of the things that she stated are absolutely great, positive opportunities possibly, but there are significant areas where there, in my opinion, is some disagreement with how things are done with the SBA. So I think, again, from a transparency perspective, from, again, my experience and how things are done a little bit differently, is we do some type of a request for presentation, that we put out a request to both school board members association. We put out the same request to the SBA. If we're able to identify any other organizations that do one or more of these type of services with policy or advocacy, we let them come in and provide us with what they do, the cost of things, where we can ask questions, where we can really do a comparative analysis, and we make our decision based on that. So I'm open to discussion, but I think we need to have a full discussion rather than just look at one organization.
If I could respond to that, Ms. Harrington, what I'm bringing forward tonight is simply policy services, period. I don't know that VSBA would be willing to even entertain an idea of just policy services because they have an all or nothing design. So you either are VSBA members with everything that entails, including their fees, or you're not. So this particular piece tonight is simply policy
I think,
services,
we
nothing more, nothing less. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So my part of the discussion is that I'm open to it. I think we need to have this discussion. I think we need to take it a step farther. I'm not sure that we want to just look at policy because it does take into consideration the other aspects of policy development. And so do we want to enter into a contract with School Board Member Alliance that is for a 1-year period without knowing what the contract looks like, without knowing if there's any no competition clause? There are just a lot of questions yet. So we can continue to have discussion as you are suggesting, or we can solve the problem fully and have them come in and make a presentation, and we decide to accept, choose, or not to choose certain things that we have opportunities to.
And that's exactly what I'm suggesting, that we simply hear their ideas and look at their contract and then go from there.
But why would we not do it at the same time? That's not, I don't understand that. Why would we not allow 2 different entities to come in and present us? If they have different services, that's okay. I mean, that's where we get to make the decision.
I'm happy to do that. Would you like to reach out to VSBA and see if they're willing to do that?
No, I would like to ask our administration to do this. I think that it's their responsibility to reach out to the organizations to request an RFP and to put those parameters in it that we would like to have them present to us. And then once they do, we have the opportunity to question, we have the opportunity for public comment, and we can go forward, hopefully better informed.
Well, I disagree. I think this is a board decision, not a administrative decision. And this is something that the board.
I'm not asking for it to be an administrative decision, Madam Chair. I'm asking for the administration to put out the requests based on our directive, and then the presentations come back to us for the decision.
Well, I think in my understanding of what Ms. Dawson has brought forward is this is specifically for policy. I don't know that we're looking for any add-ons to policy services. There was discussion previously on, obviously, a policy committee, which I still think would be, a benefit to policy services. We had also talked about, I believe it was Spotsylvania County did, where they had an intern for the attorney come in and did the review of policy. help write policies, that kind of thing, which I thought would have been a part of the policy committee. I'm looking at 2 binders of our policies. And as I go through them, they should be revised every 5 years. And ultimately, we've been relying on VSBA to send us what new things have come up in the legislative and make adjustments to those specific ones. We're putting a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility on Laura to make sure that all of these policies are updated. I think it would be beneficial for somebody to come in and go through every single policy, make sure that we are up to date, number one, that they've been revised, and we can start fresh.
Well, I thought that we had directed the superintendent to have legal counsel review to make sure that we were at least up to date on our annual reviews in the 5-year time frame. If I misremember, I'm sorry. I thought that that was positive part of this. I am definitely willing, as Miss Darlene Dawson is willing to be part of that policy committee, but I think if we're going to make a decision to go outside and hire someone, that we deserve and we need to look at multiple options and take those into consideration. I think that this is just, I don't have enough information to agree to go down this path yet.
May I add one more thing? You're asking for other agencies. There's not many other agencies out there that specifically just do policy committee. We have relied on the VSBA for how many years? And there are policies that we have currently that VSBA never looked at, never revised, as long as we've been a part of their membership. So having an organization come back to revise policy that they didn't take the responsibility that we paid for them to do, and they didn't do it to begin with, why would we have them come back?
That's, I had not ever heard that. I didn't realize that they have not updated. I thought we were advised that they do that on an annual basis and that we were up to date for our 5-year annual review. I would say, experience, dedicated advocates, resources, connections, network, those are things that need to be looked at by whatever organization we choose to go with. And I think that we don't just go with one single organization that has been offered, that we look as a whole at the different services, cost, and all the other parameters to make an informed decision. I absolutely agree that Dr. Hornick and his staff need to have policy services in place, but there are significant concerns I have about SBMA.
Do you have anything you'd like to add?
I would not.
Okay. All right. Well, we will continue to discuss if there's any other agencies out there that would be specifically for policy review, or possibly even looking at an intern to be able to come in and review our policies, I think would be beneficial.
So Madam Chair, are we going to ask the administration superintendent to start looking and developing and going in that direction?
You're welcome to ask. I don't feel that it's their responsibility.
Which is part of the reason that I absolutely do not support School Board Member Alliance, because the concern that I have is their complete difference in philosophy relative to board responsibility and the interactions between the board and the superintendent. So I will ask, and I will ask at this time, Dr. Hornick, will you please do some research, your staff do some research to determine, besides SBMA and Virginia School Board Association, if there are any other entities that would be available to our needs and that we can then support going out for some type of a RFP process or some type of comparative process and fully discuss this.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on. Reminders. Ms. Dawson.
I think it's me again.
It's you again.
All right, so our first reminder,
I appreciate the reminder.
all right, good.
Mhm, yeah.
Do it just for you, Mr. Rickett.
Yeah, no, you did.
So it's June. I don't know how we got here, but it's June. And so that means Dr. Hornick's evaluation must be done preferably by July 1st. So I sent, I think, to Ms. Byram. Did I send to Ms. Byram? The VDOE form, the fillable form that we each fill out. Maybe I didn't. I will send to Ms. Byram or to each of you the fillable form, and then we'll get it back to me. I'm asking for June 20. Is that enough time? So that I can collate it into one document. And then, Dr. Hornick, we need to have a discussion about our Standard 8 decision. You and I had talked about that briefly throughout the year, but I'm not sure we ever arrived at a final destination on that. And then the surveys that went out, do we have a deadline for when those are going to be compiled?
I didn't put a deadline on them. It's starting to. You can watch the time frames and the time stamps, and so they're steadily winding down. You know, if, like, for instance, yesterday there was only one from parents and community members, and today we've had two. So it's
right. Yeah, with surveys, it's typically when they first go out.
You can see when they've run their course.
Right. So
we are quickly approaching said course being run.
Information, the raw data and comments from that, will those come to us? Or
Can we give him?
what's the?
What do you want to do? Why don't we just say a week from today, have him be done and start to compile it? Is that enough time?
Right. I don't know how it works with, what is it, Plan Forward is who's doing it? Do they
Well, what they
compile it
would do
all?
is they would basically collate the data and provide themes and those type of things. So I did this more of for something for me to reflect on as I'm moving forward. Is this something that you're actually planning to use in the evaluation?
Well, that was the original discussion, because there's one of the standards that suggest that boards can use a community evaluation as a piece of the puzzle.
Gotcha.
I thought we had established that previously, but if we didn't and you're uncomfortable with that, then we can revisit.
Sounds good.
I don't know what that means.
I'd talk about it offline.
Okay.
I'd be more comfortable.
I hear you. Okay. All right, so a week from
Do it-
today?
I was going to say, let's just do a drop dead date and then complete the process and then
Okay.
get it to you.
And then go from there.
I would think, before the 20th, as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and then the second reminder is our parliamentarian training. Mr. Gilmeister is booked to be with us virtually from Massachusetts on Monday, July the 14th, starting at 8 a.m. And going until noon. And then that afternoon will be the rest of our board retreat, and then that evening will be our board meeting. So we have an exciting day together. But he has asked if we have any video clips that sort of stick in our minds about things that felt a little wonky during a meeting, that we could send him a few clips and he would prepare in advance to help us navigate how we may have chosen to do things differently or better in terms of Robert's rules. So if you all could think back, and by June 23rd, and Ms. Byram, I'll need help with clipping and all that. We can just say, this is the meeting date, this is the time.
Does it go without
Greg,
saying?
are you still here then? Did he leave?
Does it go without saying?
Yeah, I think I can figure it out if you have some clips that you think of and you say, this meeting date, this minute, to
okay,
this minute, I can figure the clip.
That's what I was hoping we could do. So if we could get them, I guess, to Ms. Byram by the 23rd so that I can then forward them to him. All right, and then the final update is about the District 4 vacancy. After we stalemated on appointing a interim, I got some questions, or a question in particular, about when that seat would actually be filled, since it's a vacant seat currently. And so I reached out to the Office of Elections and also to our attorney and received the clarification that this was never declared a special election for that seat. Therefore, it will be treated as a general election, and the winner on November 4th will be seated in January. So that's the definitive answer from legal counsel. Just FYI for those who were wondering.
May I ask you a question, Darlene? I've been trying to find out a little bit about the upcoming election too, and I keep seeing something saying about a special election for District 4 in November. Do you know anything about that?
No, I've not
That's
seen
not
that.
related to us?
No, and Donna Harpold and Mr. Schwartz both said that in checking with the court that it has not been declared a special election. Therefore, it's just a general. Yeah,
I couldn't find anything that was specific to what it might be, so I just thought I'd ask.
I have not seen that anywhere else, no.
Good, thank you.
Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, dear. All right, future agenda items. Is there any additional, do you have anything, Mr. Rickett?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Harrington, do you have any future agenda items?
I do have a couple items that I'm not sure if they need to go to the agenda or just some feedback through Dr. Hornick. The first one, I would like to have a report relative to the chronic absenteeism, specifically at the high school level. I know we've made amazing and tremendous gains in bringing kids back into class and having their little rears and seats, but I'm still concerned that we have a pretty high absenteeism level. I'm wondering, does it have any relation to where those students are, if they're East End, West End, whatever end? Is it related to programs, CTE, academics, the driving, having to drive to the area? If we have any type of information, I would love to have that. I'd also, I think I sent you, Dr. Hornick, and someone else copied recent law that's going to be enacted by Governor Youngkin, HB 1477, and the flexibility and learning models relative to that. I would love to have some feedback on that also.
Thank you.
That's it.
I forgot. I did have something on here.
Yeah, I see that.
Thank you for reminding me. So these are big picture down the road ideas that I've been researching and reading, and I've talked to Dr. Hornick about it. I've talked, I think, at other times with each one of you individually about these ideas. And this is probably not so much a future agenda item, but perhaps a retreat item. And a lot of this originally sprang from Jonathan Haidt's book, The Anxious Generation. If you have not read that book, please read that book. It's mind-blowing, the information about the rewiring of our students' and children's brains based on digital access. And so I read there's like a 600-page report from UNESCO that came out in 2023, actually. And of course, I haven't been able to wade through all 600 pages, but it has a lot of that same kind of data. And the recommendation that we really, as educators, consider pulling way back on devices, particularly for our youngest students. Sweden, I read in 2024, I believe, has moved particularly primary grades more towards pencil and paper and physical books. So I'd really like, I don't know exactly what this looks like. It's just a seed of an idea, but getting our Dr. Wolfrey, Dr. Honecker, teachers, staff, Ms. Ayler, anybody who's interested, I don't know if it's a task force, a committee, to consider, would this be something that Orange County could be a leader in returning, particularly our youngest, K2, away from a one-to-one device and more towards analog learning. So I have no idea how our staff feels about that, but the research, the more I read, the more abundantly clear it is that our children are in trouble. And at least during the school day, we can do something about it, maybe. So just to put that out there as a seedling of an idea that we might want to pursue. And then the second thing, and this kind of came to mind, and I've discussed it with Dr. Hornick and some of the other members individually as well. I do think we have the potential here for expanding our alt ed, and I think that would be Dr. Hornick's number one priority based on our conversation. But also, the state is very interested in having more charter schools in Virginia. I think we only have 7 currently. We're lagging behind other states massively on that. Magnet schools, traditional schools, classical schools, those kinds of things that are kind of aimed at high-performing students. So just big ideas, big picture ideas for future thought and discussion.
Appreciate that. Thank you. All right. You were good, right?
Real briefly, excuse me one moment before we are done. I just want to say thank you, Darlene. I really appreciate your thought process and the different things that you're pointing us in the direction of reviewing and researching. And I think that looking at alternative schools or something to that effect is a great direction to go in.
Thank you.
Any other comments? All right. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice night.
Goodbye, Sandy.